The Wicked Uncle. Hello, this is Natasha, and I'm dropping by with a story about a wicked uncle. It's for our friends at wickeduncle.co.uk, which is a website that helps wicked uncles remember birthdays of their nieces and nephews and makes it easy to choose the right presents for them. Bertie hopes that your uncle isn't quite as wicked as the one in this story. It was Mum and Dad's crystal anniversary, which meant they had been married for 15 years. To celebrate, Dad was taking Mum away for a long weekend to a secret romantic location. The children, Jeremy and Jemima, were going to stay with Auntie Jane. Only Auntie Jane was a bit scatterbrained, and she forgot all about her promise to look after her sister's children, and she also had arranged to go away that weekend. And so she couldn't look after the kids, after all.
"Well, I suppose I could ask Jeff,"
said Dad. "Oh no, anybody but Jeff," said Mum. But as it turned out, there was nobody else but Jeff to be found at such short notice. Jeff was Dad's brother. The children hadn't seen him since they were very small, and Mum called him their wicked uncle because he always forgot their birthdays. Sometimes he sent cards and a £10 note, but always at completely the wrong time of year. "I bet he is awfully wicked," said Jemima, "because Mum really doesn't like him at all. I think he went to prison." "Or perhaps he was a pirate," said Jeremy hopefully. But when Jemima asked Dad if Uncle Jeff had been to prison, Dad said that no, he hadn't, at least not so far as he knew. But he didn't say it like he was surprised she had asked. Uncle Jeff arrived late on Friday night, and in the morning, when Jeremy looked out of the window, he saw a red sports car parked in the drive next to Dad's big blue estate car. A taxi came very early to pick up Mum and Dad and take them to the airport. Later, Jemima and Jeremy got up and made their own breakfast, but Jeremy didn't eat his at the kitchen table like he was supposed to. Instead, still in his pyjamas, he took toast and jam into the living room and switched on the television. "You know that Mum doesn't let us watch TV on Saturday mornings," said Jemima, "because they only show rubbish." "Well, Mum isn't here. She's enjoying a weekend of freedom from us," said Jeremy. "I bet Uncle Jeff will tick you off," said Jemima. At about 10 o'clock, Uncle Jeff came into the living room just as an army of tanks was being destroyed by robots from the planet Zeton. "Bang! Pow! Pow!" said Uncle Jeff, like a lot of guns and explosives going off. Jeremy looked up at him in amazement. Dad never said anything like that. "Excuse me, kids," said Uncle Jeff. "I need a cup of strong black coffee before I can face the world. Now, where's the kitchen? Oh, I'm your Uncle Jeff, by the way." And he disappeared down the corridor. A little later he returned and asked, "Well, what are we going to do today?" "Homework," said Jemima. And Uncle Jeff said, "Boring. What's the world coming to? Don't kids these days get up to any mischief?" "Let's go and buy some computer games," suggested Jeremy. "Could do," said Uncle Jeff thoughtfully. "But I had something a bit more outdoors in mind. Come on, get dressed, and I'll take you on a surprise treat." A little later they all got into Dad's estate car. Jeremy was supposed to be strapped into the child seat for safety, but he asked cheekily, "Can I drive?" And Uncle Jeff said, "Well, all right, but only on the driveway." Gemma protested that her little brother didn't know how to drive a car, but Uncle Jeff said that it was never too early to learn, and he let Jeremy sit on his lap and hold the steering wheel. But just as Jeff was starting the engine, Jeremy moved the gear stick, and the car leapt forward with a great crunching noise. There was a burning smell, and smoke started to come out of the bonnet. "Whoops, there goes the clutch," said Uncle Jeff. "I don't think Dennis is going to be too pleased. Perhaps you won't mention this little incident to your dad. We'll just let him think that your mother broke the car. Well, what shall we do now?" "Can we go in your sports car?" asked Jeremy. "Well, as long as I can drive," said Uncle Jeff. And they all got out and went over to Uncle Jeff's car. It was rather cramped in the back seat, even for the children, and there certainly wasn't room for Jeremy's safety seat. Uncle Jeff reversed out of the drive at quite a pace, and was soon roaring down their street so that all of their neighbours must have heard them. Then Uncle Jeff turned on some loud music and opened the sunroof. His style of driving was not at all like Dad's. He zipped in and out of the traffic and shot through lights just as they were turning from orange to red. Jemima thought he was an irresponsible driver, but she didn't say anything because that wouldn't be polite. Jeremy said, "Can we go faster, Uncle Jeff?" And Uncle Jeff put his foot on the pedal and they went even faster. He took them out of the town and down a dual carriageway into the countryside. Eventually he turned up at what looked like a farm track, and the sign read, "Clay pigeon shooting." When they stopped and got out of the car, Uncle Jeff opened up the little boot and took out a long leather pouch.